What's going on, you guys? Welcome back to the channel. I really appreciate you guys checking the video out. We're going to get right in today's video, and what I've got for you today, obviously by the title, we're doing the hybrid racing fuel pressure gauge and the hybrid racing fuel rail. And I jumped the gun on you guys. I already installed the gauge, but it's super simple to do. All you have to do is take it out of the box and take the plug out and screw this on, and that's pretty much it. It looks really freaking good. I reckon that you can't have this without this, so that's really cool. So we're just going to finish assembly here. I'm using the factory locations for now. I'm not going to be using them forever with this car. I do plan on eventually getting the tucked fuel line, but for now we're just going to roll with the factory setup. Put that on there, get this guy, put it on the other end here. And this fuel rail offers so many opportunities for growth and expansion. Like it's a super nice fuel rail for the money. I'm pretty sure that you can run nitrous through this, just get the right fittings and things like that. I mean, it really is nice, and it saves you from having to get a fuel pressure gauge to diagnose issues or whatever. So yeah, it's super nice. All right, got that on there, and it looks really good, you guys. I really like it. Like I said, I am planning on getting the tucked line installed, and I may do a video about that, may not, it just depends. So this is ready, and I'm just gonna leave it here. It's good. So you may be asking yourself, where's the RSX? Why is it out here? Why is it not inside? Well, I'll tell you, I haven't been driving it much ever since we got the MDX. You know, Kenzie's been driving that. I've been driving the truck. Axel's been driving nothing because he's a dog. So the reason, you know, I haven't been driving it is just, yeah, no real reason. I just haven't been. The reason we're going to be working on it out here is because A, it's a really quick, easy, simple job to do, and B, because there should be no pressure in the fuel rails at all right now, because I haven't been driving the car. So I didn't want to start the car and then get a bunch of pressure up in the injectors and everything, and then have to disconnect the fuel lines and everything. So we're just going to do it out here, and then we'll start it up and take it for a test drive and all that good stuff. If the car would have been parked in here for a few days, you know, I probably would just be working on it out there. But since it has not been, then I'm not gonna start it up and pressurize the fuel rail, if that makes sense to you guys. So if there's any wind noise, I do apologize for it, but like I said, this is a really simple, straightforward job. So this is where my ground is. I just put it there and it works. A lot of people put it right there. I really don't like the way that looks, so I just put it right here on my RBC, and it's been working fine for me. Let's see if this is a 12. It might be a 14. No, it is a 12. Cool. And normally, I mean, you could probably disconnect your battery. I'm not going to do that for this. I don't think it's going to hurt anything. I mean, it's definitely a good idea, but like I said, this job, like, I mean, with there not being any fuel pressure in the rail, this job is not going to take very long at all. So you want to unplug all your injectors, and it's got these clips on the factory rail. Just push those clips out. You can use a flathead. I just use my hands, and you're going to take your harness here, and we're actually going to be disassembling it, and we might be tucking it. And when we tuck it, I think it's going to look a lot better. But for now, just kind of push it out of your way. I mean, you don't have to do anything crazy. And I'm going to go ahead and try and disconnect the fuel line. Factory fuel line is right here. So what you want to do is you want to push down on these clips and then just pull the fuel line out. It might have a little bit of pressure to it, but it shouldn't have much. I think I'm going to actually get some pliers to help me out here. And be really careful not to break the plastic clip if you can avoid it. I mean, it's not a difficult thing to replace, but you just don't want to have to, is all I'm saying. Perfect. Little bit of fuel, not much. I mean, that was perfect. That was textbook usage of leverage and taking advantage of the fact that the car has not been running for a few days. So here we are. Next things next is you want to unbolt the fuel rail. Definitely do not lose these bolts. You will reuse them. Now this part, you kind of got to pull pretty hard to get the injectors to come loose. I find that just rocking it back and forth like this, really gently, they will release eventually. There we go. There we are. And see, yep, my O-rings are tore up. Okay, so we're going to make a quick trip to Honda and pick up some new O-rings, so that's cool. But that'll give us plenty of time to get everything the way we need it to be. So I'm just going to put this down right here. And let's see. Everything looks good. I don't see anything out of place. You do not want to lose these guys. These are the spacers that space out the fuel rail the way it's supposed to be. Just leave those be. In fact, I'm just going to put everything back the way it's supposed to be for now, and even this ground. Now in the hybrid racing instructions, they say that you can use this bolt right here as a ground. I just put it back in there when I did this paint job, but I like this spot a lot better if I'm being completely honest. But I'm thinking that I want to tuck the wiring. I'm going to pull all this plastic off and I'm going to tuck the wiring up under here and pull the injector plugs up through this center section of my RBC. So we'll see, but we'll check that later. Also, check out this, guys. You've been looking at it the whole time, but I've got the hybrid racing coil pack cover, dipstick, and the really cool oil cap. So like, yeah, I'm going all hybrid racing pretty much. I'm pretty stoked about it. So these are my factory injectors. And these O-rings do go bad. I mean, there's nothing you can really do about it. They just go bad. The next step that you're going to want to take is you're going to want to get a flathead screwdriver and you're going to release these metal clips. So you just stick it in here and you just start twisting from side to side and they will release eventually. That's two. Look at that. That O-ring is just toast. I'm going to take one of the injectors with me to the Honda shop just to make sure I get the right one. You know, I think a little bit of penetrating fluid probably would not hurt this situation at all. Might come out a little bit easier. I don't have a good trick to get these out, you guys. Penetrating oil. That's my trick. This still has gas in it, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it in my lawnmower. Oh no! Oh no! Oh God! Well, that could have went better. Nice premium gas. Hey bud, how you doing? What you doing, pal? Daddy's just doing a little bit of work. I'll be done soon, okay? Then we can go play. All right, so you're pretty much done with this fuel rail. Last thing you're gonna wanna do is to take this off. And since we have to go to the Honda shop anyway, if I break this, then I could just order one and they'll have it. One of the big differences between these two fuel rails is look how small these holes are. And look how small this hole is. And this is feeding the entire thing. It's a good design because the fuel is coming straight to the center of the fuel rail. And I can't really show you guys now because I should have showed you guys beforehand. So yeah, this hole is small. It's the same size as this, but that's because it has to accommodate this guy. But these holes are huge. And this hole, you guys saw when I was putting these on, like the actual fuel rail itself, the size of the interior is just massive. We're gonna go to the Honda shop. We're gonna get all new seals for these injectors. And we're gonna get one of these if they have it. Okay, fellas and ladies, maybe. Some time has passed since we last spoke. I left to go to the Honda dealership and pick up some of the O-rings. I went to one Honda dealership and they had this O-ring, this part, but they didn't have this one or this one. And arguably this one on the very tip here, the smallest one, is the only one that I needed. Because like, look at how gnarly those are. I don't know if you guys can can see that super duper well, but it looks bad. I really wanted to, you know, go ahead and replace these O-rings, maybe even get some more in the future, because if this thing has to come off and on a couple of times, you know, I just want to be prepared. Now, you don't have to replace these O-rings every time, but it's always good to have spares on deck, you know what I'm saying? I don't know what it is about it, but I really love genuine Honda parts. Wow. That's gonna be difficult. There we go. That one's in. Okay, not as difficult as I thought. Just push straight down. Straight down with decent force, it'll go in. Rotate them a little bit. Yeah, these clips are not used, you guys. There's no way. They can't be. They literally can't be used. Because the way that they're retained, it doesn't exist. So you will not use factory clips. And tomorrow when the sun comes up, we will be able to install this, get the wiring straight, and then we'll be good to go. Hello, good morning. Welcome back to the channel, you guys. It's a new day and we're gonna continue the work on getting the new fuel rail installed into the RSX. Okay, so one of the next things that I need to get done is I need to get this plastic piece off. Okay, you guys, sorry the camera battery died, but I took off my throttle and cruise control bracket and we're gonna modify it slightly. And what we're gonna modify is this section right here. If you guys didn't hear it on camera, I'll show you why in a second, but basically you're just gonna take a hacksaw and you're gonna chop off this section right here, and I'll show you why here in a little bit. Actually, what am I doing? Did we not just buy a brand new tool to handle situations like this? This will make quick work of it. And that indeed did make quick work of it. There we go. That's all you gotta take off. Now I'm gonna grind this with a grinder to make it look better. All right, that's pretty good. All right, that's even better. All right, you guys, so that's the change that I made. I've got it filed down pretty good. It is not perfect, but it doesn't have to be. So if you're doing this on an RSX with an RBC intake manifold, you may have to modify this. It's not a big deal. So now that I've got that taken care of, this should all fit perfectly within one another. And after I get this attached, we should be solid. We should be good to go. There we are. Perfect. Okay, so now this no longer comes into contact. That's what I was trying to avoid. I was trying to avoid the the main fuel line coming in right here. Well, the only fuel line coming in, avoiding contact with the cruise control cable. So now that we have successfully done that, and that's not going to go anywhere, and it doesn't look like that's going to need much adjusting at all. So that seems pretty good. So now that this is no longer coming into contact with that, I'm happier with it. Also, this is just for future reference, but if you guys can see the oil level of the gauge here, I messaged Hybrid Racing and apparently that's normal. So if that's what yours looks like, don't worry about it. As I got done taping up all these wires, I pulled them all apart, and you may be asking yourself, well, wait a second, which one's which? Well, you can usually tell which one's which. The shortest one usually starts on cylinder 4, and the longest one goes to cylinder number 1. A much easier way to figure out where each of them go is to take a Sharpie and label each connector. So I got number 4 here, 3 here, 2 here, and 1 here. So 4 being the shortest, 1 being the longest, 2 being the second longest, and 3 being the second shortest. So it's pretty easy to figure out, but if you take a Sharpie and label each one, you won't get them mixed up. So I'm just going to start with number 1 and work my way down. Okay, so now that that's done, you can kind of sort of tuck everything away. Now that all this has been taken care of, I'm going to throw the intake back on. You guys have seen me do that 1,000 times. And then after that, we will start this thing and make sure it's not leaking any fluid anywhere. And I always forget to plug this thing in before I go too far. I do believe everything's hooked up. All right, let's check for leaks. It sounds good. Do we have any leaks? Nope, and it says that we have over 40 pounds of fuel pressure, which is really good. I don't see any leaks at all, which is awesome. Let's see if she'll start. Awesome. This is all the old stuff that I pulled off of it. All this tape and sheathing. It's been on the car for 15 years. Okay, you guys, so I did a couple checks on the RSX. I checked K-Pro. Everything seems to be in order. Everything is working as it should as far as I can tell. But if anything does happen, I'll let you guys know in a future video. But as far as the install on the hybrid racing fuel rail and the fuel pressure gauge, that's pretty much it. I may add a few things here and there in future videos showing you guys, you know, other progress that I have involving that. But as far as the install goes, guys, that's it. I got nothing else for you. Thanks for checking out the video. If you liked it, be sure to smash that like button, annihilate that subscribe button if you haven't already. Be sure to share the video with your friends, your family, and your dog being the most important. And as always, guys, hope you got a lot out of this, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care and have a great night.